Welcome to At the Table with Baz, the show where local stories are served. I'm Baz Hunter, and each episode I sit down with the characters, the grafters, and the hidden gems behind the places we all know and love. So pull up a chair, relax, and join me as we dive into real conversations and the stories that shape our communities. This is At the Table. Hello and welcome to episode number 3. Today I'm joined by the man behind Kicks Gainsborough and a whole lot more, Hayden Charles Denman, known in our house as Coach Hayden.
Yeah, everywhere I go it's Coach Hayden. I could be stood in Tesco and hear Coach Hayden and high-fiving kids, and it's such a great experience when you see them out in the community and they shout you, and you're having that really positive impact on children's lives, which you cannot beat.
Yeah, I mean, I see that because obviously, you know, Alfie comes to Kicks. Yeah. More on that a little bit later about what it does for kids, what it does for their, for the confidence and sharing and learning all different things, as well as the sport behind it, which is obviously always brilliant. But how did it all begin then? What's the backstory?
So I'm Gainsborough born and bred, even though I live in Carborough now. But
is that Retford way?
Just over the bridge. I grew up on the council estate in Gainsborough. Started living with my mum and dad. They sadly divorced around 2008. Went to Hillcrest, then Whiteswood Lane, and then went to the Gainsborough Academy to do my secondary education. Absolutely love living on the uphills of Gainsborough. All my best mates to this day, we all still knock about today. Absolutely brilliant, best times of your life when you're young and on the council estate, having so much fun. Went up to TGA, really enjoyed my 5 years there. As a student, started off really well, and
like the high school.
Yeah. So there's two secondary schools in Gainsborough. There's Queen Elizabeth that you have to pass the test to go to, where we run Kicks at, and there's TGA where kids that don't opt for the 11 plus go there. Secondary school started really well for me. It's around year 9 where it started to go wrong. My behaviour started to take a bit of a dip. Emotionally, I wasn't ready for starting to grow up. But it was down to a really big reason, really. So this kind of shaped my journey. So that's why I wanted to share it. So when I was 14, I went skiing on a school trip, and we was having the best time. We flew out on the Saturday from, I remember, Luton Airport.
Some school trip.
We loved it. Yeah, to Geneva in Switzerland. Yeah,
wow.
It was called Torgon, the place where we skied. And we did the first day skiing, and I put my ski boots on the wrong feet. So everyone thought I was in a Mardy because they were winding me up about it. They gave me Wally of the day. Yeah. So I was skiing all day. And
you got Wally of the day?
Yeah, for skiing in my left one on my right foot and my right one on my left foot.
Well, if you can do it like that, then
you can't really tell the difference.
We always been into like sports.
Yeah, always. Love badminton, love table tennis. I played paddle the other day. That's a brilliant sport.
Right, okay. Always looks a little bit dangerous to me, does that?
Yeah. So it's I like my sports. And so when we went skiing in Switzerland, the first day we all went on the slopes. We absolutely loved it. And then we always were having a tea, and then my PE teacher come, "Hey, I need you to come with me." I thought, have I done something? I don't know what it is. So he walked me up this slope, and I was in my shorts, and I saw this really old Astra, Vauxhall Astra. It must have been about from the 90s. And I just see my mum and granddad sat in the back of the car, and I went, "What are they doing here? I'm on a school trip with all my mates. Has something happened?" So I get in the car, and she said, "I'm sorry, Hayden, your dad's died."
Wow.
So obviously they took me back to a hotel that they were staying in. I decided that I was going to stay, but when I was already a bit emotionally all over as a teenager, that just kind of knocked me for six.
So they'd like flown over specifically to tell you
because it was all over Facebook. It was all over everywhere.
So
I would have found out.
Find it out.
Yeah.
Second hand.
And sadly as well, I actually found out people on the trip knew before me. Because other parents had told them, but they actually switched the whole Wi-Fi off in the system because it was everywhere. And I've got a lot of respect for my mum, my stepdad, and my granddad for doing that.
What an amazing thing for them to do, and a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because for a 14-year-old lad who was away with his mates skiing on a school trip, what a thing to have to go through.
Yeah. So from there, I went back to school. I was emotional. I like get really aggy at little things because I just couldn't cope with it. I rejected like counselling. I didn't want to speak to anybody really about it.
I think sort of men and lads in general are just sort of, they do bottle it up, don't we? And we sort of like, I can deal with this and I know best.
Yeah, I'm the big man, And in 2014, 2013, mental health wasn't really such a big thing as what it is now. And
I suppose it were less spoken about, less known. And wow.
And I remember just storming out of PE one day and I was really mad. And my PE teacher, like, didn't get me up against the wall, but I was like stood at the wall and he went, "Are you okay? I've heard everything that's gone on. I can help you. I've been through this." And he won't mind me sharing this. He lost his mum really young as well. So a very similar thing to my dad. Because my dad he wasn't an alcoholic, but that was his escape to go out to the pub. He'd go to the pub multiple times a week. And he knew how I was feeling. And it was the first time I let go of that feeling and actually trusted somebody to speak to about it. And that gave me kind of like coping mechanisms to kick on. So
it's a really good thing, isn't it? I think it sort of will show you a big weight off your shoulders and stuff like that. I suppose that's how it felt.
So from there, I've always... from 15 it changed for me and my mindset changed. I wanted good things. I wanted to have the best house, I wanted to have the best car, but I wanted to do well. And I said to myself, I'm going to put myself in the arena, and that's something I stick by to this day. Get yourself in the arena with them people and get yourself out there. And I took a sports leaders course, and it was a free qualification. It was like 3 weekends where you come and learn to coach. And my PE teacher must have seen something in me when I was doing it that I didn't even see in myself. And it was actually parents' evening a couple of days after, and he offered me a job at the very first Mini Kits franchise, which was Lincoln, one of the first ones.
Right, okay,
So straight from 16, because I'm going into my 10th year at Kits now, I started working at Mini Kits Lincoln. And I used to get paid, I think, £4.50 an hour. I used to work 2 hours on a Saturday, 2 hours on a Sunday, and it used to be a tenner to go on the train. I used to be in negative equity, but at the time, I come out of it, I used to put the cones down. I used to just watch the coaches, and I learned off so many good people. And I just took all them skills into it. And then by the time I was 18, I was like, you get 18, you want to go out with your mates, you want to have a bit of fun. I'm like, do I really want to work in a Sunday morning? So my really good friend, Tom Butterworth, started up Kits Gainsborough. And I saw the job there. I was like, it's in Gainsborough. I've just passed my driving test. I was working at a leisure centre. I was going to college. Shall I have applied for it? So I actually went from Kits Lincoln to someone else's franchise in Gainsborough, and started Gainsborough off with Tom. So from there, Tom had multiple franchises. So he had Gainsborough, Bassett Law, Leicester, Gould and Selby. So he then took me on full time from there. So I was in Kits full time, really mastering my trade, really learning how to manage people, learning how to deal with parents, learning how to deal with kids.
You learned it all from the ground up.
Really. Absolutely. I started right at the bottom of the pecking order.
I think that's a great way of doing it. You've gone up the ranks, a little bit like my butchering days. I started off slicing liver, and you get a little bit, you're pressing all the burgers and you're doing the mince, and then eventually you start... set your lips to start cutting the steaks and stuff like that. And you've done exactly the same thing. You started right at the very bottom and you've worked your way up.
So, and then it got to 2020 when lockdown and all stuff started, and I was sat in Costa Coffee at Blythe. Starbucks in Blythe, having a meeting with Tom. And I was just sat and I'm like, what's my next step? What does that look like? And I'm like, right, I'm going to buy Kits Gainsborough. Because I know this is Tom is a fantastic franchisee, but being from Gainsborough, I wanted that to be mine. And we only had about 30 kids on our books then. And I was like, right, Tom, I'm going to buy Kits Gainsborough for you. He told me a price and I went, right, leave that with me. And I went to the British Business of Banking and I took out a business loan and I bought the business.
Wow. So you started off, you decided you wanted it because you Gainsborough through and you could see a bit of yourself in that. And obviously the growing of it and stuff like that. And you had a conversation and
made it possible, Wow. And my nan and granddad helped me a little bit with it, but mainly it was sucked up by the loan. And then we were due to start in January, and then we went into the 4-month lockdown. So I just took out this massive loan and I'm like, we're not going to have any income because we couldn't charge the parents because they weren't coming to Kits. So, and then I had to bring the British Business of Banking up and I was like, look, I know I just took all that money, but I can't start paying you back for 4 months. And then we just did the right things in lockdown. And I've always said in my heart and in my business mind, I say to all my staff, all my team, I said, let's just do the right thing. Always do the right thing. If you do the wrong things, it's never going to go well. Always look to do the right thing. and we did online lockdown sessions. I'd be sat on Zoom and we'd be doing it in their houses, and we put challenges on. We controversially broke lockdown rules and went into forest and filmed football sessions, and we had to do it because we wanted to impact our community. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. So basically, you were doing all this thing behind the scenes. John. I mean, what a thing to go through. Take this big loan, buy this business, and then as soon as you start, you get shut down, which must be.
So then April come, and because we did all them things right between January and April, the kind of atmosphere for it was massive. We had loads of messages, we had loads of bookings come through. So even by the first week, we went from 30 to 55 kids coming every Saturday and Wednesday.
I think people just getting out of their house as well, wasn't it? And into the fresh air, a bit of training, something good for the mind, good for the mental health as well. And and I think that's good. What you touched on before was a brilliant thing that you said is you always believe in doing something right. And that's very much how we try to work, is that if you strip everything back, if you just do it right and you're honest and you work really hard at it, then you're going to succeed.
And that's one of our main values, is honesty and humility. And we want to make sure that we do everything for the right reasons, always. Yeah. And so when we got to 2020 and we started and we launched, we then kind of just boomed upwards. We were putting on more sessions. Our Wednesday night session went from 1 session to 2 sessions to 3 sessions all at once to 4 sessions at once. Then we were seeing 50 kids on a Wednesday night, when at the start we only had 30 kids on the book
all together.
And then we get that landmark where we had 100 kids booked on, and that was absolutely fantastic. Then we had 150 kids booked on, and it just built and built and built and built, and we managed to build a great team around it as well. And we just did the right things. We then got involved with the county council. We used the council initiative funding. We've done 4 free events for any child in Gainsborough to come and play football, because I'm aware kits is quite a premium product. It's quite a high price product, but that value in it, that professionalism, the impact, the care, always there.
We're seeing that totally ourselves, and not just at home with Alfie, but I mean, I can be driving the van, taking some meat somewhere or doing something, and you're driving down the road and there's all the little orange kits everywhere, and the kids are really proud of it, they're wearing the kit. I mean, he's got his name and his number on the back. But they're really, and they look absolutely fantastic, and the fact that they're getting to mix with others and the learning, as we mentioned earlier, about, not just about the sport, but I suppose it's great for fitness, it's great for their mind, it's great for them to get a bit of fresh air. I assume you're in the summer, you're on the fields and stuff like that as well.
And that teamwork and being around other kids, it's massive. Even for my son, I love for him to go and do things with other children, because that's how they learn. And it's the same with kids, because when they're with other kids, they learn off each other, they copy each other, learn how to work as a team, they learn how to pass a ball to each other. Like little things, when they're scoring goals, I should make Alfie shout my name before he scores a goal to get him used to making Coach that communication. Hayden. Yeah, Coach Hayden, you've got to pass me the ball, and that communication, and it sets them up for life. And the good thing now is that I could walk in the streets, and I've been doing kits for nearly 10 years now. Some of the kids are 14, 15. And
the furniture now, you see,
I'm sat, and they're going, "Hey, Coach Hayden, how are you? Thank you for everything you taught me." Even to one point, is when I worked in the primary schools doing kits as well, I was in a pub in Retford the other Saturday, and a kid was 18 and come up to me, and I'm like,
"But you're
wow."
fine.
Yeah, I was like crazy. Like, you just learn new things, and they remember you because you've had that positive impact on children.
Such a positive impact at such a young age, and they'll remember that forever. And that's a really nice thing to do.
That is our mission statement. We want to positively impact every child at every opportunity, and I feel like we really are kicking on with that in Gainsborough, and we've gone from strength to strength every year. Really have,
Yeah, I think it's fantastic for the community. I mean, how important is that for the Gainsborough community as well, and everyone getting together? And I've seen some of the things that you get up to, and charity stuff and everything.
So we every year we do a giving back to Gainsborough. So we work with Feeding Gainsborough. We work with cancer research. We've gone to care homes. We've dropped packages off. We always do a football card. We do raffle tickets, and we always look to give back to our community. And like our holiday camps, little things like this. We'll bring the ice cream van, and the kids get a free ice cream, because they're our Kits family. Without them, there is no Kits. And it's a big thing. And this is something I've learned in business is it's not all about Facebook. Yes, Facebook does help us with some good photos of the kids and getting our brand out there. But you've got to fight outside the glass with business. And we've always done well on word of mouth. If I ask someone in the street, 9 times out of 10 people will probably know who we are because we've always been out, we've always done the right thing, we're always flyering, we're always thinking of the other ways to get people to come and see us. Instead of just relying on a Facebook advert, we want to be everywhere, which is brilliant. Like a little thing, like we've got banners up, and that's where you put banners out on the roundabout near baseline. We've got a banner there, and then
it's brilliant. And do you know what? It's professional.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
Alfie were getting a sticker after scoring his goal the other day, and it were a branded kit sticker. He's got his branded gear on, and it's so nice. It's such it's such a great thing for the kids.
And I always say to the coaches, like, why are we spending that much on stickers? Because they're the 1% things. They're the things that kids are going to go, hey, look at what I've got, and I've got a different animal next week to give to Alfie and all the other kids, and they absolutely buzz off it. And a new thing we've started doing now is instead of just like, so how it used to work is we just plan a session and we do it. So now we have themes. So every 8 weeks we work on different themes. So like this 8 week, it's own the ball. So when it gets to the 8th week, and it'll be break week at the start of March, is we'll give every kid a certificate saying you have completed own the ball. So by the time Alfie gets to the end of the year, he'll have like 7 different certificates on what he's worked on all the way through the year. So not only now are we're not just turning up and planning our sessions and coaching, we're actually giving them a professional curriculum for all the children to follow as well.
That is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and there's so much that goes, and that's great for the parents. I mean, I can't wait for certificate day now,
It'd be brilliant.
That's brilliant. Yeah. No, it's fantastic what you're doing. It really is. And what's your plans then moving forward?
Yeah, so it's been actually our busiest year yet.
Has it?
Yeah. So September we launched our second business. So we've just launched Kits East Lincolnshire, and that compared to my Gainsborough map, it is humongous. So it's like picking like your key points where to do a session. So we've started very short and simple. We do market raising on a Tuesday. That's sold out, other than we've got 1 space in the first group now, and then the second group sold out, and then we've got Skegness on a Saturday. So we've now launched into even wider into Lincolnshire and expanding, and I think we've got 60 kids booked on now at Kits East Lindsay as well. So it's going really, really well. So the next steps with that, obviously, we want to keep growing our sessions there. Skegness, we want to be able to make sure every session's full, same as market raising, just impacting more communities. And we've been looking and we're teasing with Horncastle and Louth because that's where all our coaches are from over there. So we've really kind of hit the ground running this year. And we've got more kids on our books than what we've ever had at the moment. But like, it's just amazing to see, because I always say Kits is a timeline. So to start from 2 years old, and some stay with us till 12, which is brilliant. But some kids like to go to the teens at 6 or 7. Which is absolutely fine. So it's that stepping stone for the kids to go to the teens. And I've got one team that have just all in my 11 o'clock class. And you watch them every week. They're passing the ball around. They're beating teams. Everyone. Not saying it's about that, but when you've coached them and you see the enjoyment on their faces and how well they work as a team. We've got one lad from last year who's actually now training at Leicester City this year, so he's doing really well. Yeah, so we're really creating. Not only are we making it fun, we're developing these kids into well-rounded people and well-rounded footballers as well.
Yeah, that's great, is that? Yeah, and it must be really good to sort of watch, like you're starting them, like you say, when they're 2 and 3 year old, and then when they're going on, and you're watching sort of how great they are playing and what they achieve, like you say, Leicester
and we put a post on the other day, and it was like calling all past and present parents and kids at Kits, tell us how your children are getting on. It got 102 comments from parents, all saying about how Kits has impacted their life, how my son, he's 12 years old, he still talks about Coach Hayden, he still talks about Coach Spencer, Coach Charlie, and it's a massive part of their life. I walked into one family home to drop off a kid who broke their wrist, so I went and took out a goodie bag and say, get well soon. And I went in the house and there's Kits photos everywhere, and like you just think you're having a massive part of people's life. Like
it's surreal, really. I suppose, when you're looking at.
We've got one parent at the moment on the phone case is the kid with the Kits kit on, and I just love it. And one of mine and my wife's really close friends, their little girl has a Kits hairband, in a hair in Alfie's group actually, and like little things like that just shows the impact on that it's having on people's
and how
lives.
much it means to them.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's so humbling to see. And yeah, we can talk about what we've achieved in business, but without the community, we would never have been able to step to where we are now. And we've had some really good successes along the way. We made the Lincolnshire 30 under 30 awards, and then we also got Business Person of the Year in the DN21 awards recently. So that was absolutely massive for us as well.
We're going to mention that. So them awards, that was 24, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's the last one.
Yeah.
Potentially there'll be again. So the DN21 awards. So we were actually nominated. The Clockhouse were nominated for, I think, Business of the Year or something. And we were picked at the post. I think there was L&J Fitters and there was Grosvenor Care Home.
Yeah,
and
great
we were picked at the post to Grosvenor Care Home. Yeah. Now, our butchers supply the meat for Grosvenor Care Home. And we couldn't have lost to like more worthy people. I mean, the work that they do at the care home
works there,
is absolutely incredible. I mean, they put sort of the food that they do. You know, the head chef Mike is absolutely superb, and he cares about every single meal that's been put onto them tables. You know, and you know, it's not just like. It's stew and master day. You know, they get what they want and they do theme nights and they do, you know, fillet steak for Valentine's and then they do all the different things. So they're absolutely fantastic winners. But you did win an award. You won the Business Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Wow. So
it was a really humbling experience. It was it was a
bit of a shock.
It was. Yeah.
Obviously, you was nominated.
Yeah, so we was nominated for two. We was nominated for Community of the Year Business Award, or it was the Business Person of the Year. But when you look at the people who was involved in the community one, Williamson's Farm, great family run business. I love the podcast on there. I went to school with Ben Craves.
All right, okay,
and he was a great guy when we was at school. And just like I said, how they've achieved what they've achieved is from what it was when I was a kid to what it is now. It's such an experience.
So many great sort of businesses, great stories in Gainsborough. I mean, I'm a big lover of the community, and I'm very proud. I know, you know, it's a bit of a tough time, you know, in the Facebook press occasionally, but I think I'm a big fan of the Gainsborough community, and there's so much good that goes on in it. And Kick's just been one part.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely fantastic. And like you say, everything else. So you're I wasn't actually at the awards. So when it was the awards, I'd got this holiday that had been booked in, like a little lad's holiday, and I nipped away with a lad. And so I sent people on my behalf, but it was like the Oscars. It was sort of everyone, really good, I've seen the pictures. I were really jealous. I can't remember where we'd gone. We were in Portugal. I think we were in Portugal and had a little lads 5 days in Albufeira or something.
Golfing,
Portugal. No, we weren't golfing to there. No, bit of mini golf, but that were about it. But yeah, so we were boozing really, if I'm honest. But yeah, we had a good lads holiday away, and but I was very, very jealous when I said it looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, everyone were dolled up to the nines. You know, on the way that it went. Yeah. And what a fantastic thing.
It's like Marshall Yard. They put on such a great job with that. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the operations manager at Marshall Yard. Go on LinkedIn. She was great. I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, it's gone from me as well. They do a fantastic job, don't they? Yeah.
And the carrots on the golf club, unbelievable. But we had a fair bit to drink that night as well, because we were obviously celebrating.
Of course, you had lots to celebrate. The bottle of champagne, and away you go.
It was absolutely one of the best nights of my life. And to do it with my family, with my granddad, my stepdad, my nan and granddad, and all my team there as well, and it was absolutely amazing.
Very much deserved. I mean, we don't know each other overly well. It's great to sort of finally catch up on your life and what you do. I obviously know of you, as everybody does in town, and you're very, very well liked and well respected, and I suppose that comes from the kids and the kids' parents, and seeing what an impact you have on their children's life, which is brilliant. But you are so busy. You've got, like me, a million and one things going on. It really doesn't stop, does it? It really isn't a 9 till 12 thing on a Saturday morning. There's the planning that goes into it. I assume that, the deciding how you're going to go about. I suppose even like training with your coaches as well.
Absolutely. So we're very very lucky at Kicks. We're so supportive of us being a franchise. We have a head office team, we have head of coaching, we have operations people, we have social media specialists as well. And every week we get sent a session that we don't have to use, but it gives our coaches a good idea.
A bit of a guide
as well. Yeah, it's called Kicks Coaching on Instagram. It's really good. And that has really shaped the game for some staff that maybe can't think of a session on a Saturday morning to go, oh, well, here's one. Let's try that. And oh, that works, but we can make that a little bit of a change or make that adaptation because little Jimmy is dribbling off a little bit too far, but because that cone's not in the right place, we can maybe move it in a little bit. But you just make your little adaptations and you show that caring to what you're doing, and it really shines through. And ever since we've nationally, since we put the Kicks Coaching page on, the standard of coaching has gone up massively. Yeah,
brilliant stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of your other coaches in action.
Yeah,
Alfie, when he was younger, and he was coaching with
Megan and Charlie.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're
the
doing
great people.
Fantastic job with the young kids.
And that's something we pride ourselves on massively, is that if a job comes up at Kicks, it's genuinely for like a once in a blue moon, because we probably we've had 2 staff members leave in the last 4 years.
Yeah, shows a great staff retention.
Yeah, we've got a really good staff retention. I'm really good with my staff. We go on team nights out, we go on team bonding. We really look out for each other, and we have each other's back. And we've got a really good culture at Kits Games, whereas if we all work together and we all work hard to get rewarded, and we get rewarded as a company on the other side.
It's brilliant. Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And they must get such a great job satisfaction out of seeing all these kids loving the life on the back of Kicks.
Absolutely. And it's really humbling as well, because like Coach Charlie, she taught her niece, Coach Megan's taught her daughter. I'm a little bit different with my son. I want to be the dad that sits on the side and watch him. Yeah, maybe when he's a bit older, when he goes into maybe a team or something, I would take it. But
so does he go to Kicks?
Yeah. So I take him to workshop.
Right.
I don't take him to games because I don't want to be coach dad. I want to go and I want, like what you do with Alfie, I want to sit on the side and watch the coaches do it. Because when you do it 6 days a week, you're like, what do I want to do on a Sunday? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, so I'm just very much like, I just want to have that experience as the parent as well.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing.
And that's helped me as a business owner as well, because I watch other coaches. I watch how I'm viewing it with my son. Believe it or not, my son won behind the goal and refused to join in the other week.
Right.
But I got him involved, and then he started doing it all. Now he's doing it on his own. But you've got to have that persistency and that consistency with parents. And we've had some kids who are 2 and they won't kick a football for 7 weeks, but now they're the best footballer in the team at 9 or 10. And you just got to persist with it. About
sticking to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the success stories we've had is crazy. And I'm excited to see what that looks like in Skegness, what that looks like in Market Raising, what that looks like in Horncastle. And it's really exciting times. It really is, yeah.
Well, that's great to hear, though, about you sort of going, and you'll be able to sort of have a nosy and see what goes on elsewhere. I'm a little bit the same. Like if we go to a restaurant or I pass a butcher's, I can't walk past a butcher's shop without having a little look in. Not for negative, what ideas can we get, and what's great, and what's working, and what's and it's fantastic. It's how we grow in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Really. And we always try, and I'm personally very bad for it. Like I said about work ethic, and I try always be the hardest worker. I don't know what it is. I want to always be the hardest worker out of my friends, and I'm always on my phone. It's such a bad habit, but if a message comes in about signing up for Kits, I'm like a kid at Christmas. Straight away. And my wife sat there going, "Oh, are you responding to a message at 9:30?" I'm like, yeah, because in my head, even though there's not really much competition in Gainsborough for what we do, I'm like, we could go somewhere else. Can't have that. We've got to be at Kits. You know what I mean?
You've got one of them brains you see that's constantly going, I'm exactly the same. And they put up with a lot our wives, I suppose, don't they?
And she's trying to encourage me to have a business phone, but I still just do it all off the one phone.
Yeah.
But we try, I just always trying to work hard and go that extra mile all the time. But yeah, and I think that's what's made me into the person I am. But going back to my childhood, that's all I've ever known. When I was in primary school, my granddad had picked me up from school because my mum's a self-employed hairdresser. My mum cuts the elderly's hair in the care homes and in the bungalows, and my mum is such a hard worker, and I think that's where I get my effort from.
Off and it's
my mum will leave the house at 8 o'clock and sometimes be cutting hair till 7 o'clock. And if you're an hairdresser, you know how draining that is, and a risk to telling the tale now. She's getting into her mid-50s, bless her. But that's how I've always had that work ethic, and we've always been that very much business minded. And my mum's been in business nearly 40 years, so
right, okay.
It's crazy. And I think that's where I get my drive from. And my stepdad's a hard worker as well. My dad was a hard worker. It just comes in the family that you work for what you get. You don't. Nothing comes to people that aren't in the arena. You get yourself in the arena. You push your boundaries. You put yourself out your comfort zone, and that's how you get the things you want in life.
Yeah, and I think that you can see, you can see from looking at what you've done and what you've achieved up to this point. And you're obviously on about doing all sorts more, but it just shows that hard work pays off. And back to, you mentioned at the start there of, 14 years old and that terrible news away skiing, but you've just got your head down and knuckled on, and speaking about things helped because it got you doing your stuff, that led you to...
I learned... And again, I'll go back to my PE teacher. He taught me the box method. So, and I say this to kids I work with now, that you've got to put things in a box and know when to open that box and know when not to open that box. So if I open that box now, it's not going to be a good move. If I go to watch Leeds United and I'm sat at Ellen Road, that's what I used to do with my dad, or if I go into Horse and Jockey Pub or the Jack and Jill, but it's not open anymore,
right.
That will remind me of my dad. Okay, and they're happy memories.
Yeah.
But if you open that box when you're not quite prepared to open it, that's when it can all go not right. Yeah,
it's a really great way of looking at it, and a great perspective to put on other people as well. And put it in the box and open it when you're ready to.
Absolutely.
Nice thing.
But it's been crazy, and like I said, I know he's looking down on us. We're all really proud. But like I said, that's the card life's dealt us, and you've got to kick on from it. You have to,
no pun intended. You've got to kick on.
Yeah, exactly. Got to kick on.
How do you switch off then? So, you've got a million things going on. You mentioned Skegness and everything else. Everything that you're building. That there's kids coming from all angles and all your different sessions. And I know it's not just a Saturday morning. It spans through your Wednesday nights and all your other bits. But what do you do for you? How do you switch off?
I must admit, I struggle. And I really do struggle to switch off. I think I've got ADHD. My brain just can't. I think a lot of business owners do.
Yeah, I'm sure that my wife is always telling me the same.
I love to see the statistics on it, because I just can't not think about things constantly. My mind's always racing. And I've really got into golf recently, but my little boy is my world. He's just turned 3. He's becoming a character. He's cheeky. He's running everywhere. He's telling his mum no now, and telling me no from time to time. And it just gets to that fun age, and it's I just love spending time with my family as well. Love seeing my mates. All my mates from Gainsborough. They're all doing so well in their careers as well, and I just love going to sit at the Hilltop, the local social club.
A bit of a chat. And
that's where we go.
It's great to see other people doing that as well.
Exactly. I love celebrating my friends. I've got one of my really best mates from school. He made a bold move and moved in with his dad in Liverpool, and now he's got a business management development job, and he's just doing so well for himself. And seeing where he was at 16 to seeing where he is now, it's just incredible to see.
Funny, these little turns in life that take us in these different directions.
And this is what I'm saying. We've all come from Gainsborough, and this is the message that I want to pass out to if any young people are listening, or anyone who's even at 25, anyone who's at 30, anyone who's at 40, who are stuck in where to go, because people do get stuck. I might get stuck in 10 years. You don't know. I might get stuck tomorrow. You don't know what life's going to hold you. But just always give yourself that chance. Put yourself in the arena, and just, if you're from Gainsborough, you can achieve anything you want, really. And that's the mindset. I can't stand to hear, we're from Gainsborough, we can't do anything. There's no opportunities here. Make the opportunities for yourself. Only you can make the opportunities, I believe.
Great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I ask everybody this question on the show, and it's, if you could sit at this table with anybody and have a conversation, past or present, or who would it be?
So I'll go personally and professionally. Obviously, personally, I give my right arm, I give my life to have 20 minutes with my dad, to have a conversation with him. But professionally, I really like Stephen Bartlett. I like his outlook. I like the way he speaks, the way he brings things. And when he talks to someone about business, definitely love to have a 20-minute conversation with Bartlett. The very lucky to speak to James Ashworth. I don't know if you've heard of him. He had Go Proposal, and he sold it into an 8-figure business. And I'm lucky to have a conversation with him before, and just incredible people who know how to scale you up, and people like that who have done really well for themselves. Yeah,
no, that's brilliant. I know you touched before on little 1% gains. Do you sort of work in that? I'm very big on these little marginal gains and little 1% wins that can keep 1%
better every week. Like this week, we launched our Discovery Days, and I'm like, right, the fight's outside the glass. You can't rely on a Facebook advert. Next Thursday, we're in Skegness, marketing every flyer in every nursery, every library, every sports hall, everywhere. We're not just relying on a Facebook advert.
Yeah, because putting in the legwork.
It's very different to Gainsborough, where word of mouth, because adverts aren't a big thing in Gainsborough. There's no point putting £500 on an advert in Gainsborough, because one, your scope would be in Lincoln or Doncaster, so you'd be feeding someone else's franchise. And secondly, is that I believe Gainsborough's a big word of mouth town. And you get that word of mouth out there, you get that positive outlook out there, you're winning.
Brilliant stuff. Well, listen, it's been fantastic to listen to your story, to hear about how it all began and the journey that you've taken. What it does for the kids, what it does for the parents. There's role models, and it's great for these kids. It's been really good to listen to it, and Hayden, it's been great to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to At the Table with Baz. If you enjoyed the episode, a like, share or review goes a long way, and I would be extremely grateful. You can stay connected with us on social media across all of your favourite platforms, and if you know someone with a story worth sharing, they can get in touch with me directly via the website atthetablewithbaz.co.uk. I'll see you next time.